Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream. Today, Ron Nicoletti here. It is Mother's Day, and I want to take a moment before we get into everything to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day. We're starting the day with a fast main track and a firm turf course this afternoon, and it was really exciting day yesterday with that mandatory pound in the Rainbow Six, and pretty formful until the last couple of races, last race actually, and it paid over $1,000, so pretty cool. We're starting anew, of course, this afternoon with the Rainbow Six. So it was an exciting day, and let's get into today's card. And we're going to start it, right as I mentioned, with the fast main track, firm turf course. Got a couple of pick fives, couple of pick fours, and look at the super high five pool carryover since yesterday in the last race, $17,000. So if you're interested in that, make sure you get your tickets in here. We're going to be dealing with 12 runners in the first race. It's a 6-furlong sprint. Maiden claim is 3 and up. $12,500. I got a bit of a long shot here in the opener. It's 7-1, and that's the 4 all power, and I'll tell you why. I like the fact that this horse is stretching out to 3/4 of a mile, returned from really a lengthy layoff to finish the stalk to pace third against this level. That was going 5.5 furlongs. Terry Pompey is the trainer. Miguel Vasquez, Terry's barn, has just been running great guns. They've been right there, if not winning it, right there at the wire, and you get Miguel Vasquez. So I thought a bit of a price. Maybe you better horse like the number 4 currently on the board at 7-1. The number 9, Opiana, is a gelded son of Phantom Wildcat who makes his career debut. And I think really in a perfect spot for a first-time starter to have some success in here. Or Delgado is the trainer. He adds Lasix, and you're getting Paco Lopez in the saddle right now, and that is the current favorite up there for all the reasons I just mentioned. And then go towards the outside with a horse that, well, it's very early in the wagering. Little Dude is another horse who's going to stretch out after bumping at the start. After finishing, I believe it was fourth. Yes, fourth, ahead behind All Power, going 5.5 furlongs. So if you're in agreement with me with All Power, maybe use the number 11 Little Dude on your ticket. But the first time starter, number 9, Opiana, taking all the money in there. We're on the main track for race number 2. No, on the turf, excuse me. It's 5 furlongs on the turf. 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. 12.5 down to $10,500. Going to have 7 in the field, no scratches or jockey changes. I went to the inside, well, sort of the inside, with the number 3, Going for Gold, who's dropping to the 12.5 level this afternoon after responding in the first race. After that claim by Jorge Delgado with a late closing fourth, was the 4-5 favorite that afternoon. That was against $20,000 claimers, so Chantal Sutherland will be in the saddle. So class relief. It looks like they're trying to get this one on top. I believe 7-5 on the morning line. To go to the inside horse with the number 1, Captured by Fate, who's a gelded son of Uncaptured, debuting on the turf after responding in that first race after the claim by trainer Elizabeth Dobles with a driving score against those 6,252 lifetime claimers, going 6. That was on the main track, so Edgar Zayas is going to handle the surface switch, and I just thought if this horse can handle the turf, certainly can run well, just keying off their performance last time out. And then the number 2, Poseidon, is another one actually debuting on the turf after showing promise, sprinting on the dirt before going to the sidelines. Now, this was last June, so coming back, Robert Smith from up at Tampa, his horses have been running very well. Paco Lopez atop this son of Poseidon's Warrior. So for me in race number 2, the favorite is the 3, Going for Gold, but I'm using the 1, Uncaptured Fate, and Poseidon, both of those trying to guess that they will run okay on the turf this afternoon. Going to the main track for race number 3. It's a 1-mile maiden claimer. Fillies and mares 3 and up, $12,500. We're going to have a field of 8 in the field. No scratches, no jockey changes in here. Went to the inside horse with the number 1, Science, who's stretching out to the mile after showing speed and finishing second in back-to-back sprints against similar competition. The trainer is Gilberto Zerpa. He's pretty solid with horses going from a sprint to a route. He's about 21%. He's got Edgar Zayas atop this lightly raced Brethren mare. Hasn't had that many starts for a 5-year-old. So we'll see how number 1, Science, runs this afternoon. Number 7, Our West Indy. I think it's an obvious choice after responding to the drop-down in competition and that surface switch last time out with a second-place finish at this level and distance. Trainer Kelly Breen winning stakes both here and up in New York yesterday. He's got Paco in the irons today, so Kelly Breen's barn going good, both up north and down south. So certainly a horse you have to look at. And then the number 4, Facts Only, stretching out today the additional furlong, tracked the pace last time out, and finished second against similar, going 7/8 of a mile for Juan C. Avila, and he's got the apprentice Galileo Martinez atop. This is a 0 for 13 maiden, but I just thought maybe this one can grab a share in there. Actually, third choice on the morning line, with the favorite being the number 1, Science, in race number 3. Race 4 this afternoon. We're back on the turf, and we're sprinting a lot on the turf this afternoon. And this is 5 furlongs maiden claimers. Fillies and mares 3 and up, $35,000. Do have a jockey change on the number 4 horse in here. Make the rider Paco Lopez. And Driving Wind is my top selection here. He's going to depart from the rail. We're just going to show you a pretty game performance. We're going to pick it up at the 8-pole home last time out, where I thought that this horse had the lead right there. And you're going to see him, he just came through the stretch, and he just can't hold off. Now the 4-5 favorite is coming up there, and that is Mudside Wicked, to just get him at the wire for Jose Pinchin. So I just thought of that game performance. Boy, he did not want to stop running, and to get beat by the 4-5 favorite certainly is a feather in the cap. If you're going to lose, you might have lose to the one that's supposed to win the race. And, you know, Joe, as I mentioned, Jose Pinchin has Edgar Zayas returning. It's a daughter of Big Blue Kitten, who's by Kitten's Joy. So thought that off that performance, wanted to show you how game that horse was. Number 3, Take Me As I Am. Beaten the neck, went second at this level and distance. Now, that was a couple of starts back. Shortens up, set the pace last time out, and faded when facing. Those were 50 maidens going a mile on the grass last time out. So, Saffie Joseph Jr., he's pretty good with the sprint to root angle. He's about 27%, so good numbers there. And Saffie, of course, the leading rider so far early on in the spring-summer meeting. And then the number 6, Ras Mali, is a 4-year-old daughter of Commissioner, debuting for Georgina Baxter. She doesn't start a lot of first-time starters, but when she does, they do well. She's 4 for 10, 40% with her debut maiden claimers. The horse is going to get Lasix. You're going to get Embassy Al Jaramillo in the saddle there, and this is one of the races where you watch the tote action to see just how much money this horse is taking before you, sashay over to the window, we'll say. But for me, it's Driving Wind. You saw that game performance last time out. Take Me As I Am, the 3, and number 6 horse for me in race number 4. We're going to race number 5 this afternoon. We're going back on the main track. 6.5 furlongs, claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, $6,250. And this horse, I'm going to start it off with the 4 in here, and that is a Thor Over, who's dropping today to the $6,250 level after following his wire-to-wire 12-5 maiden score. Now, that was going 5.5 furlongs. Then he comes back, duels for the lead. He finishes third. He's beaten a couple of lengths, but it's again 12-5, but these are open claimers last time out, going 3/4 of a mile. Gilberto Zerper is the trainer, so I like the fact that this horse is going to strut its stuff against non-winners of 2 in here. The inside horse, Union Gap, going to turn back to 6.5 furlongs after drawing clear to defeat $16,000 maidens going 7/8 of a mile for Saffie Joseph Jr., and he's solid here once again, 24% or thereabout, with horses winning consecutive races. Then number 8, Took a Cab, who's stretching out an additional half furlong today after rallying to finish second. It was against very similar competition, going 3/4 of a mile. Edgar Zayas is going to ride for journeyman Dave Brady, just an excellent trainer that I've known for many years. We'll see how Took a Cab does in here, but I like the 4 Thor Over on my ticket. Those are the first 5 races on the card. We're going to take a short break. When I come back, show you my Rainbow Six ticket. Welcome back to Gulfstream. Today, Ron Nicoletti. It is now 12:05 p.m. I guess that's good for everybody to know that it's finally afternoon. So if you want to get a little bit of a sandwich and something, you got a reason to do it now. In the sixth race, this is going to be a mile maiden special weight for fillies and mere 3-year-olds and up. Did have 2 scratches in here of the number 1 horse and the number 6, so we'll be dealing with a 5-horse field. But first, let's go and check out my Rainbow 6 ticket this afternoon. Get the $100,000 guaranteed. What a day yesterday. They bet over $3 million of new money into the Rainbow 6, and it was a pretty even, it was pretty, the horses were very logical till maybe the last race, and it paid $1,000, which is amazing. This thing is, for 20-cent increments, it's pretty cool. Now getting into my ticket here. I went too deep in race number 6, and I used the number 4, Perfect Grace, and the number 2, All Worthy. Race number 7, I like King of Rock in this thing, but Positive Phil. Just one of these days, Positive Phil's going to win. He ran so good last time out. Just seems to have that little bit of chandelier in the stretch and doesn't get it done. In race number 8, I went with 2 horses in here, the Great Oz and Straight Up Guy. Then I got some coverage all the way through in race number 9 with Whiskey Sunrise, my top pick. And then in race number 10, Kitten's Romance, looking like a queen for Bobby DeBono. Has won about 5 races, it seems, over the last 3-4 days. And R. Callie Kim. And in the last race, just a wide open affair, especially with the scratch of the 4 American Classic, the morning line favorite. Boy, that is a real head scratcher. So I went 3 deep in there. I think the 13 who's getting in because of the scratches in that race can run well. So getting back to the 6th race this afternoon. Wanted to go back and show you a couple of horses in here that I have on top. I started it out with Perfect Grace, and I also have the 2 All Worthy. So first we're going to show you the start. You'll see Perfect Grace on the outside and All Worthy on the inside. Now when it starts here, you're going to see Perfect Grace gets whacked outside, and you can see the number 1 on the inside, broke poorly and had to be rushed up into contention. So just to show you, both of them had a little bit of trouble at the start. Then we're going to switch it and pick it up from the 8th pole home. And these horses ran very well. And you can just see Perfect Grace, All Worthy, after that bad start. And I just thought the number 7 horse in here ran really well. Just couldn't get by the even money favorite in here, Another Woman. So good performance. And All Worthy, after the bad break, is going to check in 3rd. So I just wanted to go back and show you they both had excuses. Maybe the one a little bit more than the 7 as far as the break goes, but I just wanted to point those out. And Perfect Grace, beaten 3/4 of a length, as you just saw with Ralph Nix. Missy El Jaramillo will be in the saddle. And All Worthy, going to try the mile today, as you saw for Saffie Joseph. He's good with horses going from 2 sprints, which this horse did, to a route. He's 24%. An angle that I don't use all the time, but it just jumped off the page about me. So 2 sprints to a route, he's 24%. Number 7 is the other horse I used in my ticket, and this is one of the 2 that were in the race for Lisa Lewis, the other one being Twice 14, who scratched out of here. That was the number 1 horse. This one has already proven, talking about Flashy 2, that she could negotiate the distance when she dueled through the stretch and was only beaten a half length last time out. Rajiv Mirage is in the saddle this afternoon. So when you're putting your Rainbow 6 ticket together, I wanted to keep it affordable. Maybe go and use the number 7 Flashy 2 on your B ticket. We'll go to race number 7 this afternoon. It's a 1-mile turf event. These are claimers, 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 3 in life, 12-5 down to $10,000. This is where our late pick 5 is going to start. I did go, and there was a scratch of the number 6 horse in here, and I did go with the number 1, King of Rock, who's dropping to the $10,000 level today and stretching out to the mile after recovering. Sort of broke slowly in his last race to finish 2nd. That was against 20 condition claimers. That was going 5 furlongs. Mike Maker, Edwin Gonzalez had a really nice day, and I think with the stretch out, this is going to be a speed play from the rail. Edwin Gonzalez, of course, won the stake yesterday and a couple of wins, I believe 2 or 3 wins on the card. So King of Rock, a major player. As I mentioned, my old buddy, Positive Phil, we're going to finally see if this one can notch the victory. We're going to go back and show you this horse's last race, and you're going to see Positive Phil, the number 2, going into the first turn and just get sawed off in here. You're going to see it right now. Just has to slam on the brakes, and it just really had nowhere to go early. And you see he's still having that trouble. It just was got caught in there, and then it come out. Now we're going to switch from home, and there he is back there. And I don't know. The jock, something was there. He was looking back. I don't know if he felt somebody on his inside, but now Phil is going to tip out, and he's going to run good in here. So with that early trouble, is that what cost him? But he's been trying to get this elusive non-winners of 3 lifetime condition for a while. But you could see, Positive Phil really closing well. He had double trouble in that race and just couldn't bring in the 9-2 shot in that race. So Positive Phil, morning line favorite, maybe with that clean trip. Today is the day. Number 7, Hero Up, is dropping to this level. Tracked the pace at his left time out and finished 4th, was beaten a length. That was against 16 claimers. That was going a mile in the 16th, or 8 1/2 furlongs. The trainer is Laura Cesares, and she's got Marcos Meneses in the saddle. So race number 7, pretty interesting race. Race number 8, on the turf once again, a 1-mile event. These are maiden claimers, 3 and up, $35,000. Clean slate, no scratches, no jockey changes. I went with the 3, the Great Oz, who's wheeling back after setting the pace, finishing 2nd at this level and distance. The trainer, Eddie Plessis Jr., he's solid with this type of, freshening of 31 to 60 days, about 20%. And he's got the hot jock, it seems, around here for getting a lot of mounts, and that's Edwin Gonzalez, who's going to be rationing this gelding's speed today. Another horse we'll talk about is the 6, Straight Up Guy, who's dropping to the 35 level and turning back to this mile distance today after tracking the pace, finishing 5th against maiden special weight runners. That was going 9 on the grass. The trainer, Patrick Bean Cohn, he's had some success with jockey Chantal Sutherland, who will be in the saddle, and just like the drop is going to help that horse this afternoon. But then you got the number 4, Double Blessing, who's going to, we're going to go back and show you this horse's last race was the number 7. First, we're going to highlight the Double Blessing, bumping and checking soon after the start. You're going to see it here as the race unfolds. And you're just going to see, checked and just was not comfortable in there. Wasn't the end of the world type thing, but just had to get position. But I thought the horse ran okay to finish 2nd in that race for trainer Kathy Ridfo. Rajiv Mirage will be in the saddle. So, it's tough to, regather yourself after you have that early trouble. But I thought this horse was pretty game to just keep coming in the stretch. And very close for 2nd, but definitely gets up there and gets the nod for 2nd behind the winner last time out. So, and that was the 3-2 favorite that won that race, Lewis Cal. So it wasn't that he got, there was another bomber in there. So I thought this horse with a clean trip for Kathy Ridfo can be okay in this spot. Race number 9 this afternoon is a 6 furlong claimer, 3-year-olds of 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, or a race since December 9th. We're going to have 6 in the field today. And I went with the number 3 in here, Whiskey Sunrise, who's returning from his most recent layoff. He looks like he's had a lot of start and stops in his career, looking to recapture the form he displayed sprinting during the sophomore season. He was pretty darn good. Mike Yates has Miguel Vasquez atop this speedy son of Cajun Breeze. So he's had, some trouble, as you can see, just when you're looking at the horse's past performance lines. But I think Whiskey Sunrise, if he can recapture that form, he's going to be awful tough to reel in. Number 2, Old Time Revival, is now back in the Ralph Nix barn and returning to the claiming ranks after shipping up to Tampa. Broke poorly in that race and never really got on track. That was that $100,000 state-bred sprint stake. So took a chance up there. Paco Lopez, gelded son of brethren. I think this is a much more logical spot. The intriguing horse to me in this race is the number 4, Front Loaded, who goes to the Georgina Baxter barn after the claim, steps up to the $35,000 level again after rallying to finish 4th. And now that was 4th in a good race. It was behind a pair of next out winners. Now it was a 12-5 state-bred optional claimer. contested, was back in February. But Georgina doesn't do many, doesn't go into the claiming game too much. She's 3 for 7 with new claims, so that's pretty darn good. Edgar Zayas in the irons, and if you hung around in South Florida, you're front-loaded, is a pretty hard-knocking campaigner. I like the fact that they gave this horse a break. They were able to get him at 12-5. Now they're putting him where he can be a major player in here, as far as the dated claiming conditions of this race goes. So very interesting horse in there. Race number 10 this afternoon. 1 mile on the turf. It's a starter allowance. These are fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, which have started for $25,000 or less. We had 2 scratches of the 2 and the number 6 in here. And on the inside, for me, with number 1, Kitten's Romance, stretching out to the mile this afternoon after following a second-place finish going a mile in the 16th. Now, that was 2 starts back. Then comes back, runs second again, beating only a neck, going 7.5 furlongs. So Mark Hennig trying to get this horse at a second gear. Maybe the mile, the in-between distance of the last 2 races, will do it perfectly today. It's Paco Lopez, and it's a daughter of Kitten's Joy. So we'll see how this horse runs for Mark Hennig. Looking like a queen, goes to the Bobby DeBona barn. Boy, he's been on fire. I think he's had like 5 or 6 winners over the last few days. This one going there, doing it over the claiming route, rallied wide to defeat $20,000 state-bred optional claimers. That was going 7.5 furlongs. As I mentioned, the barn, good first off the claim, 26%. They got Sammy Camacho atop this 4-time local turf winner. So a hot barn, I think a horse you have to use on your tickets. And then the number 7, R. Callie Kim. You would expect this horse to show more this afternoon after returning from about an 8-month layoff to finish a trouble 4th. Go back and look at that race. Had to steady early behind Kitten's Romance last time out. Georgina Baxter, Edgar Zayas handling that rematch. So maybe with a clean trip, they'll reverse that previous outcome. Our finale today, as I mentioned, this one is a mile on the turf. Maiden claim is fillies and mares, 3 and up, $16,000. What I mentioned, there was a couple of scratches in there of the 4, the 5, and the number 9, 14. 13's going to get in and run. And the scratch was a pretty big one because it was the morning line favorite American Classic. So I bumped up into number 7, Exaggerated Moment, who's dropping a notch, stretching out to the mile today. Tracked the action last time out, finished in 5th against 20 maidens. That's going 5/8 of a mile. So I'm thinking his daughter of Exaggerator should be part of the pace this afternoon when stretching out around 2 turns. No pace jumps off the pace, and that one you're going to say, wow, look at that horse. That's the pace in the race. So I thought Exaggerated Moment may be able to control the action in the finale. Number 3, Kamala, is cutting back to 8 furlongs after rallying to finish second against this level of competition, going 1 mile and 1/16. Romero Mirage is going to ride for Javier Negrete in there. And as I mentioned, mark this down, the number 13 is going to get in. He's debuting locally. You go back, if you have time, look at that race up at Tampa. He really got cut off at the start in that race, and he rallied to finish 4th. He was beaten 2 lengths. It was against 16 maidens. It was going a mile, as I mentioned, up there in Tampa at Oldsmar. So he had a trouble trip last time out. Hard to translate what 16 maidens means to 16 maidens down here, but there is absolutely no world beaters in here, so I think you give this horse a strong second look. And the number 6, Signing Bonus, is stretching out to the mile. Broke a step slow, finished 3rd when returning to Gulfstream Park and back into the Dave Brownlee barn. So maybe a horse like this back in the friendly confines. But if you look at its record on the turf here, I think 0 for 9 on the turf, at least in the win department. So we'll see how that horse runs. So 7, 3, 13, and 6 for my closeout superfecta. I'm going to take a very short break. When I come back, we'll have this afternoon's lightning round.
Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new mobile pass performances. Access the most trusted information in horse racing, including exclusive buyer speed figures and DRF analysis and selections. Experience the new mobile optimized DRF pass performances on your phone from anywhere at any time. Go to drf.com/now. Use coupon code NOW to get a free single card and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand.
It's now time. Welcome back. It is now time for our world famous lightning round, and just a couple of things we want to touch on this afternoon. And I mentioned the stake race yesterday was the English Channel, so we want to go back and just show you the stretch run of this. This time, broke badly in this race, was back in last and just came through. Was the big favorite 9-5, and really ran exceptionally well in that race. Had to sort of change a running tactics. Didn't want to be that far back, but showed his class, as I mentioned, ridden by Edwin Gonzalez and trained by Kelly Breen. So Kelly Breen, remember that name, because the next horse we're going to talk about is an old buddy of ours, and that's Firenze Fire. And this one made its 6-year-old debut for Kelly Breen and was pretty solid, winning the Grade 3 Run Happy up in New York. So 4-5 that afternoon. So as I mentioned, Kelly Breen wins the stake here. Earlier in the day, that was race number 4. And this horse coming back as a 6-year-old. And last time we saw this horse here at Gulfstream Park, it was really a good second. I forgot what race was he in. Let me check it out. I don't remember right now. The Mr. Prospect, of course. And it was a Grade 3. And then some news about a really special horse, and that's Monomoy Girl, dual champion Monomoy Girl, just a sideline with muscle soreness. I mean, everybody loves this horse. So we just wanted to let people know that she's fine. She's going to get a little bit of a break, go on the farm, and I'm sure come back and maybe become a 3-time championship winner. So that is Monomoy Girl. And then one other friend of ours from Maryland. We knew this guy up in Maryland. We're talking about jockey Trevor McCarthy's going to shift his tack to California. Boy, he's won so many fantastic races at Maryland. Of course, he was just riding recently in New York, but everybody remembers him from Maryland. He's won all the top stakes there in Maryland. He's an excellent rider, and he'll be plying his trade out there on the West Coast. So a nice, short, good lightning round for us today. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will have all 11 races on the card. Pete Aiello is going to be somewhere in between. They're giving you the scratches.